So we shall lead with the first case of the week. This is a story of a 65-year-old male in the OR who's planned for a elective thyroid surgery for toxic goiter. He has a history of aspirin intake for a transient ischemic attack in the past. Now, the surgeon is opening up the thyroid, he's dissecting the thyroid, and the anesthetist notes this rhythm on the monitor. So when he notes this rhythm, suddenly panic sets in the OR, the surgery is stopped, and he gives esmolol 30 milligram and amiodarone of 150 milligram bolus is given. So immediately after administration, the pulse rate fell to within normal range, around 70 to 80 on the monitor, and normal QRS rhythm was restored. So they thought probably it was due to a sudden surge of thyroxine entering into the bloodstream while dissecting the thyroid gland. So again, the surgery was restarted, and 20 minutes later, you note this rhythm. Now you can see what looks to be a VT in the center of the strip, and then followed by restoration of sinus rhythm. And at this point, the anesthetist says, "Okay, we'll take a regular ECG and see what's going on." So they take this ECG, and you can see what looks to be a polymorphic VT at the edges of the ECG and what looks to be a VF at the center. So what do you do at this point? A, you give another amiodarone bolus. 2, you give a DC shock. 3, you call the cardiologist. 4, you give lignocaine since probably amiodarone is not working. Or 5, you do nothing. You can think about this for some time. Pause the video if necessary. So the right answer is do nothing. It's a pseudo ventricular tachycardia due to the presence of artifacts. So this is an article which came in International Journal of Cardiology. An accurate electrocardiographic algorithm for differentiation of tremor-induced pseudoventricular tachycardia for true VT. This is the main editor was Chuang Yao Huang, which came in 2005. So Huang's algorithm describes 3 signs: sinus sign, spike sign, and knot sign. Sinus sign is one of the frontal leads, 1, 2, or 3, showing normal sinus rhythm with normal PQRS and T waves. Now remember, if it's a ventricular arrhythmia, it has to be present in all leads. You cannot have a ventricular arrhythmia presenting only in 1 lead or 2 leads. It has to be present in all leads. 2 is spike sign, presence of small regular or irregular peaks between wide QRS complexes. 3 is knot sign, overlapping notches in the artifact appearing to be a wide complex QRS rhythm, coinciding with the duration of the cycle in which the sinus rhythm was recorded. Again, we shall see with examples. This was the ECG of the patient. Here, you can see the dark and thick arrows which show the knot sign. You can see a notch here. As you can see here, probably here also, there are notches appearing in the, even here, there are notches appearing in the QRS complex. That is, these corresponds to actually to the presence of the normal QRS complex running through. And this is the sinus sign, where you can see normal sinus rhythm in one of the limb leads. So remember, a ventricular arrhythmia has to be present in all leads. So this is not a ventricular arrhythmia. This is actually a pseudo-ventricular tachycardia. This is the spike sign. This is a case of hypertrophic cardiomyopathy patient on Holter, where you can see what looks to be a non-sustained VT running or a polymorphic VT running through. Then you can see definite spikes here. You can see one spike here, one spike here, one spike here, and another spike here. This is actually, if you trace it, it is the sinus rhythm running through the apparent arrhythmia. All right. This is especially dangerous in HCM patient where you might implant an ICD for this patient, which is totally unnecessary. So what is the importance of Wang's algorithm? According to this algorithm, the presence of any of the 3 characteristic signs will exclude true VT as the diagnosis. The absence of all 3 signs will lead to the diagnosis of a true VT. This algorithm was tested in a hospital setting and was able to correctly diagnose 97.3% of cases. So this is a very important algorithm to know, as you shall see when subsequently. Why is this important? So this is a very interesting article by Bradley Knight. This is a very old article, came in 1995. The clinical consequences of electrocardiographic artifact mimicking ventricular tachycardia. Okay, note here, there are 12 patients who underwent unnecessary diagnostic or therapeutic interventions as a result of a misdiagnosis. This includes an ICD, this includes a pacemaker. So you need very clear idea regarding whether it's a pseudoventricular tachycardia or a ventricular tachycardia. Now, who made these wrong diagnoses? An initial misdiagnosis of VT was made by a cardiologist in 4 cases, a house officer in 4 cases, an ER physician in 3, and an electrophysiologist in 1. So these are not ordinary people. So if you have made this diagnosis wrong, you're not alone. A board certified cardiologist agreed with the diagnosis of ventricular tachycardia in 10 cases, and they also consulted an electrophysiologist. So even cardiologists and electrophysiologists are making wrong diagnosis. So what do? They did a diagnostic cardiac catheterization in 3, probably they did an angiogram. They gave intravenous lignocaine in 7 patients. Remember, this was in 1995, where lignocaine was extensively used, and IV nitroglycerin was given in 1 patient and sublingual nitroglycerin in another. 2 patients were given a precordial thump that was interpreted as a successful cardioversion. Nowadays, this precordial thump is not being done. So 1 patient in whom Torsades points was incorrectly diagnosed underwent implantation of a PPI. That's a permanent pacemaker, because they thought that a bradycardia was causing the Torsades, so they kept a pacemaker probably at a higher rate to prevent the bradycardia-induced Torsade. 1 patient underwent placement of an ICD after an episode of artifact was misdiagnosed as polymorphic VT. So you can see that devices are also being placed by cardiologists and electrophysiologists, misdiagnosing a pseudo VT as a VT. So what do? Actually, after this study, they went back and gave lots of tracings of pseudo VT to several doctors, internists, cardiologists, electrophysiologists, and asked them to make an interpretation. 94% of the internists, 58% of cardiologists, and 38% of electrophysiologists misdiagnosed the ECG as VT. So remember, pseudo VT is very commonly misdiagnosed by more than half of the cardiologists and more than a third of the electrophysiologists. And when asked how would they manage, more than half of the cardiologists and nearly 90% of the electrophysiologists recommended further invasive management or treatment. This included angiograms, ICDs, permanent pacemakers. What does this imply? The misdiagnosis of an artifact is likely more common than it is reported and has both economic and medical implications. You might do unnecessary procedures, you might do unnecessary angiograms. The patient may be perfectly normal and you might place in a permanent pacemaker or an ICD for him. So keep in mind Hwang's algorithm and keep in mind the diagnosis of pseudo VT before you commit upon a VT. So thank you. Please send your ECGs if you have any to ecgacademytvm@gmail.com. Please like, share, and subscribe and press the bell icon for further notifications.